Yo, what's up, y'all? I am. Oh wait, about to watch this video, even though I feel like it's about to it's about to roast me right now. What's wrong with new devs? Is the title. I was gonna react to this and make it a video, but I just shot a video, so I said I'm gonna just go live, man. I don't know how long I'm gonna be up here though, cause it's kind of late. But let me finish setting this up. I don't know why I always like hop up here and then start to configure stuff. What's wrong with new devs? Let's see what they talking about.
Yeah, right.
I'm
It's like,
reacting to a
they're like, oh, you
reaction.
gotta sign this
Oh no,
driver,
they're
or you gotta
live.
like authenticate this thing. Well, it's just gonna be an LLM based butt print that you just like sit in this like brown wax on the code, and then it's good.
You could even take an offline verification approach as well. Like if you get creative with a little bit of wax, you could actually put
Yeah.
that on an envelope, and then someone would not only know that this
Yeah.
this envelope would just look like a weird imprint, like a balloon, but then at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you would actually be able to use an LM to scan and be like, oh, this is a secret message from
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah. Yeah. The watermark, my butt watermark, so that it's really from me. Tamper-proof butt watermark.
This is the most cursed conversation I've ever had in my entire lifetime.
I
This is
aim to
absolutely
please.
fantastic. Hey,
I aim to
the
please.
modern web is fantastic. Honestly,
It's
we have
very good.
I don't know if I can only watch this right now. I'm about to play chess while listening to this as well and looking at the chat. What's the best way to set this up? Let me see if I can configure this while we're waiting for people to join and stuff. I'm just chilling, man. Ain't nothing going on tonight. Um, I'm just relaxing, man. What my next meeting or whatever isn't until 6 p.m. tomorrow. So I got some time, man. I really should be working on this app right now. What else do I need to be? I gotta be doing a bunch of stuff, but man, I worked all day today. I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna play chess and watch this. And try and get another screen up here in a second.
Very
Butt marks
good.
now.
Yes, absolutely. It's only going to get better with AI generation.
It truly will only get better. There's no downsides and only upsides coming. Tweet, and this tweet got people pretty hot and bothered on the internet. Not only was I, but also the original creator of said tweet was referred to as racist for making this tweet, which is pretty outrageous.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it happens. Okay, these things happen on the internet. If you Twitter hard enough, you'll be called. Like honestly, if you're not
Right.
getting called racist, you're probably not Twittering properly. And
Right,
so
you're not
this one-
tweeting often enough.
you're just not tweeting often enough. That's all it is.
All right,
So
yeah.
let me read the tweet, and then let's talk. I have a couple questions we'll kind of work through here. All right.
Okay.
You took a JavaScript bootcamp, made a few basic web apps like the tutorial showed you, and now you're writing engineer in your bio. You feel like an imposter because you are one, brother.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. First, gut reactions. How do you feel about that?
I guess what I'd say is I understand where the tweet is coming from. It's pretty obvious why someone would be frustrated, perhaps, with the general level of knowledge of quote-unquote software engineers nowadays. So I can understand why someone would post something like this. On the other hand, I guess it's just like, yeah, when I make a tweet like that, because we've all made tweets like that, I probably am not expecting everyone to just be like, great tweet, yeah, good contribution, right? Because like there's nothing in it really, right? It's just saying, hey, software engineers suck nowadays. I'm like, yep, newsflash.
So maybe so something I think is kind of an astute one is that right now you hear this a lot with people feeling like they're imposters, right?
Right.
That they feel like they don't belong.
Right.
And so there's like this whole thing that's going on where people feel like, they look at everyone else and therefore they're all better and why aren't they better? Or it does the inverse, which is they have these constant memes on TikTok where the senior engineer goes to the junior and the junior's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then the senior engineer responds with, I don't know what I'm doing. And that gets like 1 million views and everyone likes it, which I think probably stems from this exact same thing. What do you think is a root cause of imposter syndrome? And do you think this actually is kind of a funny introspection into what is causing imposter syndrome?
So I've never really understood imposter syndrome in any deep way. And so I've always kind of had to imagine that, because I sure I have similar feelings, but they're not imposter syndrome. Like, I often constantly am like, wow, I am doing this thing that I'm doing better than I was doing it like last year, and I'm quite sure that in a year I'll be doing it completely
All
differently and
right,
better than I'm doing it now. Ergo,
we started off with a win. They're cooking. I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of cooking. Damn. Well, my bad. I cut him off.
right now I'm sucking. Right? Like just
Yeah.
any honest examination of your trend line, I'm like, yep, right now I'm probably doing a number of things wrong that I will look back on in a year and go, well, that was dumb. And so I definitely understand the idea of looking, going, well, even if any honest appraisal of what I'm doing, even without any external evaluation, just looking at my own behavior, I can tell I'm screwing up, right? And that's just going to be true. So I understand the idea of going like, yeah, whatever I'm doing right now is not great. What I don't quite understand is the imposter syndrome part, because like, sure, I could go online and find someone who's doing something better than me, but I can also go online and find people who have no idea what they're doing. So I'm not sure. It seems to me like people, when they have imposter syndrome, are perhaps uh, being overly negative with their self-image, because they're choosing to compare themselves to good people instead of just comparing themselves to people who have no idea what they're doing. At worst, no matter how bad you are at anything, at worst, you can easily find someone else on the internet who's that bad, right? In that job. That's not
True.
that hard. So
True.
I think imposter syndrome is more a case of being unrealistic about your comparisons. You're choosing to compare yourself to someone really good and say, oh, I'm imposter, I'm not that good. Okay. But
Nah, he cooked.
instead,
I'm
you should also
lost.
consider like, oh, but also I could go look at all these people, right? People who write books on software engineering who have clearly no idea what they're doing. You can go into the Barnes and Noble and find someone who has no business telling anyone anything about software engineering. They've got a book on the shelf. So what I try to tell people whenever they talk about imposter syndrome is like, look, feeling insecure or feeling like you don't know what you're doing is a natural part of learning. Being better at something tomorrow means internalizing the fact that you are bad at it today, right? And for me, I've been programming for 30 years, and I have never felt like I didn't get better year over year. And if I ever felt like I wasn't getting better year over year, I would panic, because it's like programming is immensely complicated and there's always something to learn. So I would say, like, look, imposter syndrome, turn it around. Just turn that into a motivation to get better, and don't worry about comparing yourself to other people, because
Ah,
it would have been just as easy to find some
shit.
total loser who like is sucks at programming and isn't getting any better because they just think they're great or something, as it is to find some really good programmer and compare yourself to them and think, oh, I'm bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's actually it's the classic problem I see often, which is people aren't sober in their own judgment. It's very, very easy to look at something you're good at and think you're very, very good at it. And then you realize you're not good at it, and it kind of like shatters your world, like your world perspective. And a good example of this is when I was a kid, I was really good at video games. I thought I was fantastic. I could beat Battletoads. Few people could ever even beat Battletoads, let alone I could speedrun it. And then I started playing other games. And then the internet happened. And I learned something very, very valuable that day. I'm very good at video games. But the internet is very, very good at video games. And my realization of what is good is severely skewed. And so the difference between me, yes, I also could beat Contra. I beat Contra several times. The difference between what is good versus what is absolutely good is a huge gulf. And if you ever just sit there in your own bubble thinking you're fantastic, you will eventually meet someone that breaks your bubble, and then you go, man, okay, I'm actually not that good. There's plenty of levels left to become better. And so I just need to internalize that. And I also, like you, don't take things in the negative perspective, in the sense that when I see that I have a deficiency, that means there is a solution out there that the deficiency goes away. And I need to figure out how to get rid of that deficiency, because that is just like, it's actually, usually I take it as like a huge win, because now I see something I'm not good at. Now I have a chance to improve that thing if I so choose to. Whereas if you just never even know about it, you don't even get the chance to try to become better. And so, I mean, this is personally why I actually really liked this tweet, is because like people have to quit, like they have to quit like they need to realize that just because you did one thing and you read a tutorial, it doesn't mean you're the thing. You can be on the way to the thing, and you should feel like you're not as good because you aren't good. Like, that's okay not being good. Like, take a moment to recognize the situation. And if you don't, you're just going to be in this, like, you'll never reach a point where you feel good. You will always feel perpetually terrible because you never learn to soberly judge.
Yes, and I guess what I would say is, the problem with the tweet, in this case, it being a tweet, which is, designed for this sort of thing, and in fact reinforces this sort of thing. Like if she had posted what I had just said, for example, like, oh, imposter syndrome is a good example of how you can be self-reflective and go, oh, that means I'm bad at this thing. Don't take it as a negative. Take it as an opportunity for you to get better at the thing that you're doing. No one's going to retweet that. It's not going to have 5.2 thousand likes and 600 retweets, right? Yeah. You have to have, so one thing that I've learned, and it's really disgusting and disheartening to me, is that if I post something that's a complete answer to something, it's like, here is a very like in-depth description of something that completely covers it, and there's really nothing left to say. Here you go. No one cares about that, right? That is not interesting. What you need to post is something ambiguous and slightly incendiary. And that is what will get all of the attention, right? And it's very unfortunate because it means that this is actually the kind of tweet that it will get you more exposure and will get you more followers and all that sort of thing. And so you're always caught in this sort of nasty space on places like Twitter where you kind of gotta do what this tweet is doing. So at some level I'm like, yeah, she could have posted a tweet that was like more complete and had more of the story, and also no one would have read that tweet.
We would not be here today talking about it.
Exactly.
It is a very perverse incentive. I've also definitely seen that if I tweet with a more negative one, I will get more interaction. And so I kind of realized that. And also, one thing I've also found is that I don't want to say it's like the Andrew Tate of, but like very red pill, take control of your destiny tweets also work in that exact same fashion. And so there is like two ones, but they have to be super terse, like you said, and almost incendiary to some sort of level, right? You either have to have the high red pill or pretty negative, like some sort of incendiariness to make it go far, which is really just a bad way to communicate in general.
Yeah, it disincentivizes good communication. And part of the reason for that is because if you think about what the audience is for a tweet, there's like two components, right, of things that spread on social media. There's what is the potential total, like, largest possible audience for this tweet, right? And like when we talk about programming stuff, obviously that's, a limited audience to begin with, right?
Yeah,
like you're not going to hit
niche.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry, Prime. You're not going to hit Kim Kardashian numbers. I wish you would. Right? I love the show, but it's just not going to happen. Why? Because people look at a screen full of code stuff and they're like, I don't know what it is. Drooling now, I look away, right, or whatever. Yeah. But so there's a some maximum audience size, and then there's also just whether or not someone will feel the need to participate. And when you look at those two things, they argue for ambiguity on the one hand, because the total audience size, the more specific you are, the easier it is for someone to realize that they aren't really interested in that tweet. Like if I talk about clean code, for example, which one of my largest videos I ever did was on that. Why does that massively expand the audience size? Because everyone thinks they have something to say about that. It's the most ambiguous word you can use. Do you mean clean code, the book? Do you mean the principles of clean code? Do you mean what you personally think of as code that is good? Every programmer on earth thinks they have something to say about clean code. So the audience size is the maximum size, right? And then there's the other part, which, do I think I should participate in this? Again, if I talk about quaternions, no one will reply. Because everyone's like, I have 40 math. I don't know what. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Forget it. Right?
3 of
You
them
talk
are
about.
imaginary. It's fake or whatever.
Forget it. What is the I? What's an I? Now there's a J and a K. The hell
Yeah.
with this. You delete. Whereas on the other hand, if you talk about clean code, everyone thinks they know something
Yeah.
about clean code. The worst program in the world would love to tell me how I'm wrong about clean code, right? So when you combine those two things together, that's how you get the biggest possible tweet or the biggest possible video. And it's unfortunate because it's not that useful for the world. That's just not. So, you know, that's why I don't do a ton of them. I mean, that's the formula. Hey, everyone out there, you want to have a bunch of hit videos? There you go. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, sorry to go on a tangent here. We can go back to this tweet because there's plenty of things we can say about this tweet specifically. Certainly,
it's actually a really well. Hold on, I do want to say there is good in that, and you know, I've been known to use this technique or two.
I didn't even notice I was losing on time. It's different, man, on the computer than on the phone because you kind of gotta drag your mouse a little bit more
to garner some interactions, but then it allows for this type of talking to happen, which is one of, I'd say, the inverse benefit or inverse negativities for this one, if you will. Like, really put a double negative on that one. It turns it into a positive because now we get the chance to talk about this, and there's been a large enough amount of people that people want to interact with this topic because of a tweet like this. And so I like it as a springboard.
No!
Which is it's almost an interesting way to like get someone engaged enough so that they feel like they need to respond.
Oh my God.
Only to give them like the old
That don't
reversal
count.
where they feel
That
confused
don't
because
count.
you just hit them with what they didn't expect.
All right, for real this
in a
time.
sense, you're sort of saying that this is like a forest fire. It's extremely scary when it happens and people die and houses are burned, but afterwards, after a while, the beautiful trees regrow again and there's like a new lush forest.
Yeah,
And
I
we
wouldn't
are
have put it that
forest
way
right
with
now,
death
Prime.
and sadness.
Like, we are the beautiful new trees. Right now, you and me, we are the beautiful lush forest rising out of the charred remains of this tweet. Is that what we're saying?
yes, we are.
Okay, totally fair. I can be that. I'll be a beautiful butterfly gently landing on a log.
Okay, lovely. A charred, horrifying log that also is part of a house.
Yes, potentially. There's like a little stuffed animal from a child that like just charred on the ground there. Never will be loved again.
All right, so let's swivel a little bit. What do you think about the current state of the influx of new engineers into? I mean, really, it's primarily into, I think, the web world. I think there's just a high enough barrier into, say, the recreational hardware world that they often don't immediately call themselves a professional and try to go get a job in that area. They kind of, they're just a recreational hardware person. They don't really have pursuits or ambitions of becoming a full-time hardware person. Whereas with web development, the purpose I only see is, I mean, few people I find actually do pursue they pursue just building something. They learn web development as an incidental to like make something, but most people are learning it to get a job, to improve their life. And we're seeing like this huge glut of new people coming in, having a hard time finding a job and all that. What do you think is like the best from 0 to 60 for them to become an employable, productive member, if you will, of the web community and or greater programming community?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think unfortunately I would say my experience over the past like 10 years or so, based on everything I've heard,
what is my, hold on, $14.99, man. I'm trying to get to 1800. All right, we need to like recalibrate here. Maybe I should change this video. I was listening though, man. This is good. This is a good video. It's motivating because they're saying like about well, first he was saying don't be so hard on yourself, and then now they're just talking about like the current state of devs. I'll keep playing it.
Being an unfortunately semi-public programming persona means you get a lot. You hear, I mean, I'm sure you know this. You hear a lot of things from people that sort of inform your understanding of what's going on in the wider programming world, right? And if I just go based on that, I would say that there's a unfortunate split difference, tension. I'm not sure what the right word is, between good like becoming a good programmer and getting a job or keeping a job, right? I would say my biggest criticism is really not, it has very little to do with the people. Like I wouldn't say that my concerns about modern programming or my concerns about the state of the industry have much to do with like new programmers, like people coming in who are new web programmers or trying to get a job or that sort of thing. My concern is more that we have generally set up an industry where that procedure, meaning getting a new job or keeping a job or getting promoted at a web company, or just, we could say broadly, a tech job, because most of them are going to be in that sort of a line of work. The things you are expected to do, know, say, or how you're supposed to behave have very little to do with good programming, in my experience. They tend to have more to do with, like, do you have the ability to check off some boxes? Like, I know these weird frameworks that'll be gone in 6 months. They tend to be about things like, do you know how to use, like Jira? Do you know what a Scrum meeting is, or something like that? Do you want to sit in code reviews all day and talk about, whether or not you should have had an if statement here, things like that? And so I would say that, maybe that's a skewed perspective, and I'm hearing those things from people, and they're not really true, right? It's like it's a distorted picture of the.
Okay, he's cooking still, and I realize I'm going too slow. I gotta focus on speed versus making good moves. Even though it's a slippery slope, it's a tricky balance to do. But we're about to try and lock in. I want to at least get to 1600. That'll be my goal. If I could get to 1600, then that'll be good. All right.
Of the world, because I mean, how should I know? I'm not out there in an entry-level job or something like that. But on the other hand, if it was true, I think that environment and that set of things, or also I'll add to that what you're taught in CS classes, object-oriented programming, things like this, the things they focus on, what's supposed to be important, they're just not any of the things that I associate with good programming, or that I see the people who I respect as great programmers doing, right? And so to me, I would say, I don't know where to approach a question like this. Like, you took a JavaScript boot camp, like, whoever Annie is said in this tweet, right? Well, like, I mean, to wrap my big rambling response I just said up into a very short sentence, well, why isn't the Java bootcamp great? Like, why doesn't that teach you the right things to put you on a path to being a great programmer? Why do we have Java bootcamps JavaScript bootcamps that don't do that, right? And so to me, I think it's more an industry failing. And I don't look at the entry level programmers as the problem. I look at them and their trajectory as a symptom of our problem as an industry.
Interesting. Okay, then follow-up question. What is a solution to this?
A solution would be to, the solution as it really only could be, is if we had a concerted cultural shift, right? In the old days, if you rewind the clock back far enough, computers were primitive and slow to the point where you couldn't not be doing real programming. You had to basically tie what you did to what the computer was doing, because if there was a disconnect between those two things, your software either would not really run at all or would run so slow as to be unusable, right?
Woo!
And over time, basically what we've done is we've gotten into a point where computer hardware is so immensely powerful that even though it's kind of crappy and it's buggy and it's very, like, it's laggy, it takes 2 seconds, I click on a web page and I'm waiting a little bit, it still works well enough that you can make a product out of it. If you don't really have any competitors who are shipping like really good stuff, you can do that. And so you look at the web, there were really no competitors for anything. Every little thing you do, you're like the first person there, right? And so as a result, you're just in this situation where culturally, there really isn't much of a knowledge of what programming actually has to be to produce high quality, low bug count, high performance software. As a result, all of the things we've generated as common core practices over the past 10, 15, 20 years are all completely fictional. None of them are grounded in actually measurable, real world performance or low bug rate gains. And the way you know that is use any piece of software. Go ahead and go on any piece of modern software. I don't care what it is. QuickBooks.
QuickBooks is notorious for this, by the way.
Gmail. Like just naming massive pieces of software that everyone in the world uses. The GitHub. I don't care what it is.
If only there was a piece of software in the background that we could even say has bugs from time to time.
There you go, right? And you look at all these things and you're like, if any of these software practices were actually good, this software would be high quality. It's not doing very much, right? QuickBooks is a freaking spreadsheet. It's a glorified spreadsheet. It's something we've known how to do since the 1970s, right? And so, I think that, again, it's like we have to get back to that if we want things to improve. The bad news is, again, without more competition, there's not that much incentive. What's the incentive to improve? What's the incentive for QuickBooks to improve? You need a bunch of QuickBooks competitors that are baller. And unfortunately, that's a really, when you look at the effects of like lock-in and state and all of these things, incumbents stay around for a long time in the way the world works now. So it's a little bit late. And so, how do we fix it? I don't know. If I knew how to convince people to start taking more responsibility for the quality of the software, believe me, I would have done it. I have no idea. Do you have an answer? I would love to know if someone did.
We have this thing that we've been saying a lot on my particular team that I'm on, which is we need to create a culture of performance. And we mean that in the sense of being able to write high reliability, creamy smooth feeling experiences. And so that's like this whole kind of mantra we've been having, because there's this internal problem where you can't pass CI without running it 3 times, just due to reliability. When I got onto a project, there was less than 1/9 of reliability internally, meaning that it was like at 83% of the time your test would run successfully. And that's not just because people are uploading bad code. It's just because like device reservation failed. Another part of it failed. Installing the correct version of of our platform failed. Restarting the thing failed. Like there's so many different places in which something failed, and all of a sudden you have this like completely unreliable platform that is going on, and no one has a good solid reason as to why or how frequent and what this does to developers. And then on top of it, measuring performance in a real way is extremely difficult, because if you just go with something like Puppeteer, is you also have to say you have to run the WebSocket connection from your tester to the testee to try to get it back out, unless if you're exposing like underlying V8 ones, but then that doesn't work on all platforms, and then you can't, there's all these like problems about trying to measure this stuff from happening. And so just trying to build this idea that we're a performance first place and we're doing it within the company is starting to kind of change some mindsets.
Oh my God.
How can we make things better? Like, how is this not number one priority? And it should always have been number one priority, because it ultimately makes the best experience. Because let's just face it, when I go into my living room and I turn on Amazon Prime because I'm renting a movie and I press the search button, I get search anxiety every single time, because I know I'm about to use an on-screen keyboard, and this is going to be the slowest, most painful experience of my lifetime. And every time it loads videos, I know I got a 1.5 second wait. Every time I press down, I know I got a half, 3/4 second wait. And I have to like count in my head, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, got it. Like, dude, I overshoot it, I undershoot, and like I'm just like, I literally start sweating when I know I'm have to use an on-screen keyboard, and it's like, we got to fix that. And so it's been this kind of mantra, but I don't know if it's actually fixable, because you still have to convince everybody else that once you hit this plateau of like it's starting to get better, that you can't stop there. Like, you can't stop at the good enough. Like, you have to keep going. And that's where I find the hardest part to be, is that you will make some sort of milestone. And when you make that milestone, everyone quits trying. They just turn off. They're just gone, right? And that's I find to be the hardest part about doing a culture change.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't. One of the things that's really interesting to me, and that I think is scary, is... So I think it would be one thing if the people who made that Amazon search thing were like, well, that was horrible. And we never, like, that was a huge, colossal mistake. Like, and everyone was fired, and right, or whatever, right? But But actually, what I encounter the majority of the time is like this excuse parade is the term I usually use for it, where people try to explain to me that like I just don't understand that the Amazon search bar, like 1.5 seconds is like a really reasonable number for like how long it takes you to type in a letter, right? And so I think like one easy step we could make in the culture is if we could somehow get programmers to realize that anything that doesn't run at least at 60 frames per second on modern hardware is probably just garbage. Modern hardware, even your Roku box, is so incredibly powerful compared to anything that a search box needs to do. And the internet is so incredibly fast. Like the ping times from most people's internet, even in rural America, is such that you should
It's like
be
100
able.
milliseconds is like tops I've seen.
100 milliseconds is 10 frames a second, people. You're getting your results back in 10 frames a second, okay? The results are coming back at that speed. And so when you think about it in those terms, where like really everything should be running at 60 frames a second.
Yo, my bad. My bad, y'all. I didn't even realize that the chat was working. Hold on. Oh, it's over here. My bad. Yo, what up, y'all? I have not used Angular yet, bro. Just
Second,
Chakra
and at most
UI.
there should be 100 milliseconds
Wait, let
of
me make sure
delay
the
on
levels are
anything that
good.
really can't be.
I might have to pause them to talk or turn them down a little bit. But yeah, I love Primogen, bro. I use Chakra UI, Firebase for the back end, TypeScript, React, and JavaScript components and shit for the front end. Um, Yo, what up? What up, bro? I'm way behind. But yeah, man. I'm trying to get to 1600 and I've been losing. It's so hard to play with the mouse, but I'm also listening to these guys, man. This is been a great video so far.
Be cached locally. Like it's like it literally has to go out for some reason. That means 10 frames a second for the most latent response and 60 frames a second of graphical update while that's happening is a bare minimum. Most people should be experiencing much higher than 60, right?
Yeah.
Like 240 if they've got the monitor for it for something like a web app easily, right? And so when we're talking about the numbers we're seeing, when we're talking about 1.5 seconds, and when you said that thing about Amazon, like I've literally experienced that same on a PlayStation 5.
And that's
it runs Horizon Forbidden West.
PlayStation 3s were used as supercomputers, and this is 2 generations later. This is great hardware.
It's insane. And so I think like the main thing we could start with on the cultural shift is going, look, a text box should be running at thousands of frames a second uncapped, no matter what it's doing. And the results, like I said, whatever the internet ping speed is, that's your result back and forth. And anything less than that, that means there's a massive amount of code in the way. Now, it might be tempting to say, well, who cares? I don't care if my customers have this bad experience. I think that's misguided because we have a lot of studies that show that customers interact more, they spend more, they engage more with any service that's performant. So I think you're going against the data there. Even in a business case, you're losing money for your company if you have that. But even if you want to ignore that, what I would say is all your other metrics are downstream of performance. And the reason for this is because
that was
code
close.
is very fast when it doesn't have much code. That's how it works. If there's very little code happening,
yo, what up?
Then
What's
it
up,
is
Leo?
very fast.
What's up, Leo? Yeah, man, I'm here for the juniors. I mean, I am a junior. I'm one of you guys, you know. One thing that I said to myself, I was like, I mean, because the way that I learned to code literally was with YouTube. So I was like the day that I found out I was getting a job, I already knew. I was like, I'm going to start a channel. You know, literally the day of, well, I got hired. I knew I was going to get a job in November. And I think I started making videos like February. But shortly after, we actually I got onboarded to the project. I started shooting videos. Like I'm a software engineer now. You know what I mean? Yo, what's up? What's up, bro? Would I transition, man? Honestly, I think I would because like would I have to transition though from web development to machine learning because one of my interview questions when I was getting getting hired by this company, they asked me if I would be willing to do machine learning. Yeah, yeah, I work for a project management app called Killblock. I could actually show you guys the project now that we're about to launch. Um, well, this is the demo. Well, no, that's the actual project, but I'll show y'all the demo. It's this right here. It's a React front end, Firebase back end, and we got funded based off this demo. And this is when I came on the project. This is what it looked like. Um, but this is no cloud functions are written for this. No error handling is written for this. No, it's not actually, it doesn't actually run. Like users cannot create accounts. There was no way for users to create account. This was all just purely like MVP, purely, no settings, no support, no billing history, no user management. I had to come in and turn this thing into an actual project. And you could check out my video where I went over it to see some of the work that I did. It took me 6 months to do it. Um, but I've grown like 100x the developer I was when I got hired. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Thanks for stopping by, man. I'll see you. Yup. But yeah, machine learning AI, man. I love AI. I use AI every single day. So hopefully I wouldn't have to transition out of software engineering, but I'm not picky. I do consider myself more of a back end guy though than like
All of the 50
working on the
layers
front
of
end. I don't
like
really
this script called
enjoy
that script, called
user
out to Python, went
interfaces
back
and
into the
stuff like
JavaScript
that.
container library, Docker component, running the
Design,
virtual version of
even
this version of
though
the C runtime library, which called back into like if you just took all that out
I come
and
from
you have
photo and
a line
video.
that says,
I
here's
was
what I do.
a freelance photographer and videographer. Here's my. I don't even know if you guys can really see this for real, but yeah, basically the user thing is done using the put models. Yeah, basically. Yep, the back end. That's where I had to do the document model, which the entire project is basically documents in Firebase. The users are a document, the projects are a document, the work items that you create are a document, the tasks that you attach to the work items are a document. Um, are y'all familiar with Firebase? Personnel, projects, tasks, users, work items. Like it's all just back here. And then you write cloud functions to deal with the functionality of it all, where all of this stuff gets updated on its own. This is just the demo though. The one that I had to do was a lot more complicated than this. Word. Yeah, I would say front end is easier. Mm, yeah, honestly, I do think front end is easier than back end, but to me, it can be more frustrating than back end and less fun for whatever reason. I like solving complex problems. I like solving puzzles and figuring out the functionality of things more so than the look of things, more so than because what to me front end. I mean, and this is granted, I have a very limited experience. I've done a few projects here. Started with WordPress, which was all like drag and drop templated stuff. Like I built this one here. But so what? Whenever I'm working on the front end, what am I doing? I'm looking up CSS. I'm looking up, or if it's just a framework, I'm looking up how do you bring this chakra component button to make this happen. Whereas with backend, it's more enjoyable to me trying to figure out what's the proper way to make something actually work. Like a function, like a cloud function, a HTTP request, a post or a get, and about how servers, work and all that stuff. I'm still learning it all, but I definitely think I'm gonna end up more so working with backend and things like that. You know, I want to start doing more leak code. Stuff like this is more interesting to me. Oh yeah. So recently I finally fixed the SSL. You're talking about this one here. I'm super like not proud of this. And a friend of mine, one of the subscribers, so I made this for her, and this is how I actually got my job. Believe it or not, like this was a complete blessing that just from making this WordPress website for this lady, she recommended me to the company that ended up hiring me. I probably should move this over here so you guys could actually see it a little better. And I could get rid of this if I remove that. Whoops. Wrong one. I gotta remove. Is it this one? There we go. So yeah, this one here. Yeah, that's cool. She runs a accelerator program. She's like the associate director of an accelerator program. She approached me one day, asked me how much would I charge her to make her website, and I did. And then she tagged me and two other developers in the Slack channel of this building, and said that there was a startup looking to add engineers to their team, and that's how I got hired. And so I just fixed the SSL for her, and now I want to redesign this. And my friend in the Discord, Aaron, gave me a template that I'm going to send to her. He sent me a couple of them, but I'm going to send her this one because I think that it looks a lot better. It looks more modern. I know that she's not a web developer, so we'll have to make it work. We'll have to like make it make sense, you know. But I think that this looks a whole lot better than what hers is currently. Uh, Yo, what up, bro? Nowadays, I feel like you have to be full stack to give yourself an edge. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want to box myself into one or the other. I'm going to render. And shoot, a recruiter reached out to me the other day too, and asked me. She said for me to get a security something, like a security certificate or something. What was she talking about? This lady here. So once you get, this is why you guys need to make a LinkedIn as well. If you haven't already, make a LinkedIn and try to get a little bit of clout, a name for yourself. So this lady reached out to me, or she sent me the friend request, and I saw she was a recruiter. I thought she might have been AI, so that's why I sent the message first, just to like see what was up. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Hope your week's going great. I'm just trying to figure out if this is a bot or not at this point. And it sounded like a human. She said, please let me know if you're currently in the job market. And I told her that I am. She asked for my resume. I think my resume is pretty trash right now. I really don't like it. Like, this is the one that got me hired, and I made this in Canva, and I think that like this with the color and stuff looks better than what I currently have. I just cooked up this one resume because I had to send it to this dude for because I just got another position um helping this guy put together a event in DC that I'm getting like a monthly stipend for it for an easy just I just have to be like communication stuff, right? Anyway, I made this resume for her, I mean for him, and I sent it to him, and to me it just looks so like boring, like a newspaper compared to the other one. But I was just trying to update because this one here has like no experience for real. No, this is the one I made before I actually was working. So it just says web development, programming languages. There's no job experience here. This one has, I mean, where's the other one? This one has actual work, but it's boring and ugly. You know what I mean? Director of Technology for Social Supply, software engineer for Washington's Hammer, and I have all of the ChatGPT written stuff in here. I was the head of customer experience and branding lead for Cavalier, and then I was a truck driver. And I only have truck driver up here because it's the only one with 4 years. Everything else is like 1 year. I've been skipping and hopping around, so I didn't want her. I don't want people to think that like I'm a job skipper. Um, yeah, this is yeah, bro. I used the ChatGPT for the most part and just grabbed. I made this thing in like 10 minutes. So I should have did a better job before. I'm gonna remake this and try to mix this with this, you know, to make it more appealing. And so I sent it to her, even though I was like, damn, I don't like this resume, but I'm gonna send it. And she said, I would highly recommend getting a Security Plus certification. So that's gonna be my next move, probably. And then I said, I heard that's where many openings are. I will look into that ASAP. Thanks for the tip. Is there any other feedback on the resume? Will be greatly appreciated. And she said, are you working 2 jobs currently? Because I'm actually working 4 jobs currently, but they're all like, the startup is the only one that's full time. Everything else is like part time little stuff that I do on the side, but it's all resume worthy. Like I work for Social Supply is blowing up right now on YouTube. This company here, Social Supply is lit, man. I was actually gonna start working editing a video here live. We've been killing it over here at Social Supply, and I should be up here about us. See, I'm right here. I'm on the team, so I'm the tech director for them. So I put that up there. Both of them say current. So that's why she said, are you working 2 jobs currently? Also recommend taking out your truck driving experience as you gain more certification experience in software engineering. Although it shows you were committed to them for 4 years. That's amazing. You eventually want to build a tech-only resume. I hope this helped. And if we have any positions in the future that align with my experience, she'll be sure to reach out. So I thought that was real cool, man. Security Plus is a cybersecurity cert. 30% of cert holders are software developers. Good to have. Okay. You don't suggest it unless you want to get into cybersecurity. Oh, okay. Dang, it only took 5 days? Okay. How did I deal with tutorial hell? Bro, tutorial hell is serious. It really is hell. And the way that I dealt with it, man, I just went through it, bro. I was trapped in there for a very long time. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I did Team Treehouse. If I could log into my Team Treehouse account, you would see that I went through. I canceled my account so you can't see, but I had every single thing done, and I wasn't even really learning. I feel like with tutorials, you get dopamine from just filling out the answers, filling out the questions, And sure, you honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. When I was doing tutorials, I said to myself, like, I just want to go through a full course. I wanted to go through a full JavaScript course so I at least knew the language. I knew that I wasn't really soaking anything in, unfortunately. I knew that I wasn't really grasping this stuff because when you're doing tutorials and you're like, say you're learning how to write a for loop, it doesn't tell you what does that have to do with the website. What the hell does a for loop have to do with a website? When you're in tutorial hell, you don't really know. You're just, and it depends on the type of tutorial hell, but when you're going through a course, you have no idea what this stuff has to do. So I'll bring up an example of one thing that messed me up when I was doing multi-factor authentication. I had a memory leak inside a use effect hook. And I remember my lead dev told me, he was like, do you know about mounting and unmounting components? And I was like, yes, that sounds familiar, but I don't fully. I'm almost there, you know. And I was like, it's crazy how um when you're I like you learn the language in tutorials, but you don't learn shit until you actually start building a project. So I would say to get out of tutorial hell, you have to build something that has nothing to do with your tutorials, but uses the skills, but it's not a project for your course. You have to step aside from that and you have to build something, build an idea, um, build something in your language that you're learning that the course is not telling you to build, and that's where you will learn how to actually build things. Is only going to be from that, I would say, honestly, and take it from someone who went through courses for like 6 months. And I even when I knew I was gonna get hired, I still, like, I found out I was gonna be hired probably like a month or two before I actually started working. So one thing I did was the Digital Builders 757 website. I took my exact framework and I built this website here because they gave me the repo. They gave me the GitHub repo early on, and I cloned it and used it to make this so I could understand Firebase, React, and TypeScript a little bit more. And I did a course. Again, this thing is still like a broken chat and to-do list. I need to fix. I'm gonna fix this up soon before because we're throwing an event. I'm waiting for you to type why you disagree, bro. I'm very curious. Oh, you're talking about you disagree with the cybersecurity thing. My bad. I thought you were gonna say you disagree with the tutorial hell thing I was saying. Dang, bro, if you're still truck driving today, man, I'm a I the way that I learned, I listened to these 100 devs videos while I was driving. I drove 12 hours a day, and I got to the point where I was straight listening to these videos.
Amazing. And then you are ready to
Yo,
go
what up, bro?
along the hunt. Now, this isn't.
And this dude right
the
here,
end,
man.
folks. This isn't.
This is the dude who got me to actually put in the work. Started with the if you go to Leon Noel, I mean you could do whoever you resonate with, you know what I mean, but free software engineering bootcamp. He got like 30 videos, they're all 3 hours. This is perfect for truck driving. To just play it like an audiobook, and then when you get home on your days off, you could cook. At that time, I would stop on my lunch break and I would be coding. And then I started freelancing. I started freelancing. I joined a hackathon, and that's how I made connections and stuff like that. Security plus is needed, but if you want a government job, it's mandatory. True. Man, yeah, I don't know if I want to get into cybersecurity, but I just want to get that thing because I do want to be open to all opportunities, though. At this point, the point where I'm at in my life right now, I'm just trying to soak in every opportunity that I can and get as much experience as I can. I feel like I'm late. I'm late to the party. You know what I mean? Um, I freelanced. So the my freelance path started with the dude who used to do my tattoos came to visit to town one day, and he was like, "What you been up to, bro?" And I was like, "Man, I'm a web developer now." Even though I mean I was still a truck driver, and he was like, "Dang, I have a carpentry company, just another carpenter down in Atlanta," and he asked me if I could build him a website. So that was my first one. Was this one here, and then um before that I started with marketing with Canva, just making stuff for companies on Canva. So while this isn't web design, this is how I got my freelancing foot in the door. I was trying to get the websites, but I was making like different stuff for different companies. Um, of course, I make my YouTube thumbnails. I did the social media for some companies, and so if you approach if you approach a small business owner and you tell them that you can basically do anything that they need you to do, you may get the website that way. But you know, I had to quit. I had to cut back on the marketing stuff, and I'm trying to focus only on software development. But I keep getting other opportunities too at the same time. Like, what am I doing? Organizing a tech conference in DC. I'm gonna be working with a dude who works for South by Southwest. I'm organizing a hackathon for, I don't know if y'all know about Something in the Water. I'm organizing a hackathon that's going to be a part of Something in the Water. But leading up to that, man, I could show y'all, just because, man, this is the digital builders. I'm trying to show y'all, while everybody says that there's no opportunities out there, I'm trying to show y'all that that's cap, bro. You really just have to put yourself, get out of your house and get in your neighborhood, and that's where the opportunities are. You just have to meet people. Like, no one wants to meet people for real, but that's where you're gonna be able to make a name for yourself and do the most. That's where the most stuff is gonna come from, man. I have like just meetings on meetings these days, and it's all just more opportunities are coming, and you could charge for this stuff. I'm gonna show y'all my This is gonna be funny, man. Don't y'all about to find the name? This is a controversial name, but it's not what it sounds like. I mean, I'm representing black people with a hackathon, but it's for everybody. I think that's gonna be the tagline. It's gonna be for everybody. Um, what tech stack do I use? My main tech stack is React front end, Firebase back end. It's easy. Google Cloud Platform makes everything easy, makes authentication easy, makes writing cloud functions easy. It's easy sign in. For the front end, I don't have to write my own CSS. There's a Chakra component, or there's free frameworks out there for any button, any admin page, any settings page. I'm all about doing things the easiest way that I can when it comes to jobs and clients. But then on the back end, in my free time, I'm always going to improve my skills on the back end. You know what I mean? Like, give me some time and I'll be able to write my own stuff one day. But for now, I'm all about just getting the job done, man. Getting it done easy and not reinventing the wheel. If an admin page has been written 1,000 times, why would I want to write my own admin page? I'm a template guy. I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean? And but I do see the reason for being a wizard, a code wizard at the same time, and how respectable that is. There was a long discussion going in our Discord today about that. You know, if y'all hop in the Discord, you could read about two guys kind of going back and forth over like the one dude was saying like how much React sucks, which I would agree. It's a lot of errors. There's this one mobile app that I'm working on right now called Booty Bench, and and I cannot get this. I'm supposed to do the CSS on this thing, man, and I cannot get the damn thing to compile. Um, it's right here, man. I've been going crazy trying to get this thing to work, and I'm taking a long time. So it's very annoying that I know, like, see, here comes the red. That I know that like once I can just get this everything to work together, I'll be able to get the CSS right. All the dependencies, like the dependencies just won't mesh together. I might have to start. I'm so far down the rabbit hole, and I've made so many changes to this shit that I might just have to like. I might have to wipe everything and start all over. Cause I'm so lost in the sauce that I don't even know. I don't even know where I am anymore with that project. But I got this. I only have to do. I'm supposed to be doing the pages, and I'm getting paid like per page. There's like 16 pages, and the whole thing is already done. All I'm doing is the CSS, the mockup, which is, I think it's over here. I just ADHD'd for a second because I was definitely about to show y'all something else. But I want to show y'all this mockup real quick because this is a client that I got from networking. It should be a PDF. Well, here's a screenshot of it, right? Where is it? Oh, it's here. All right, so here's one of the pages. All I gotta do is bring this red gradient background. That's all I gotta do is bring that red gradient background because it looks like this right now. This is what it looks like when I load it on my phone. When it did compile. So I had a couple choices of how to do that, right? And I was trying to use ChatGPT to help me like get it done quickly. And since I use Chakra UI for my day job at the project, I asked ChatGPT, help me put Chakra UI into this project. And it was like late at night. I just copy and pasted what they gave me. And then like the next two prompts, ChatGPT said, well, actually, Chakra UI is not made for mobile. Let's try native something something. And then gave me some code for that. So then I put that in, did legacy peer depths. It changed a whole bunch of stuff, and we've been going back and forth since then, trying to get the dependencies to like mesh well. You know how like something will be outdated versus something else. So I think I need to just start from scratch, not try to put Chakra UI in there, because all of the pages are already written. The dude literally just said, see, look, here's all of the components are here. They're just all blank. And I have a mock-up. I have a full-on mock-up already. So I don't have to do any thinking. Here it is. I found it. Man, if one of y'all want to help me out with this, bro, I will split the bread with you. I don't care. That's another reason why I started this group. So here's the mock-up. All I gotta do is do all of these pages, and he's doing the other stuff. This is for a client, and this is for a company that was started by this young dude who he's like me. He just is a client magnet, and he's overwhelmed, and he doesn't like to do front end either. And I told him I don't like to do it either, but I'll do it because I can, you know. So that's what I'm doing. It's been a long ass time. Like I'm so tired of like not getting this done. I need to get this done. So far, it's only 2 pages that I'm supposed to submit to him. So I'm gonna actually try to do this like tomorrow. You come from end results, all that matter. Make it work. Learn. Right. Errors are normal. You're stuck on a task. Yeah, man. Yeah, I use premium ChatGPT, and they really think ChatGPT is gonna take our job. I'm like, we still a long way to go from that, man. But so another thing that I'm doing that I want to tell you guys on how to break into tech, right? Once you get your LinkedIn up, once you go find where the developers are in your town and meet them and like go to their meetups and find out the conferences that come into your town and find the group, man. Go sit at that lunch table. You know what I mean? Like, it's a high school. It's basically high school all over again out here, and you just gotta put yourself there. And there's not a lot of people doing that for some reason. Like, I think that the developers, the pay for that app is 35 an hour, but he said like 5 hours per page. You know what I mean? So nothing crazy. It's not crazy, but that's a lot of pages. If y'all look at this, and he was like, so the trial, like I signed a contract for 2 pages, and plus like the 2 hour onboarding, I think it was. And so he's like, yeah, I'll give you 5 hours per page. You think you could do 5 hours per page? And I was like, yeah, that's fine, bro. So you've been looking for people in Hartford. Let me see. I'm about to see what that's like, bro. Developer meetups, Hartford. Is that Connecticut? Hartford. I'm gonna see computer programming events near Hartford. You got a paired programming. Oh, that's online. Online. PHP. We got PHP. What is this? Is this in Hartford? You might be right, man. You might be right. Does Donald live in Hartford? He's the organizer. See, I would try and look. He's right there, bro. So I would add this dude on LinkedIn. You gotta find this guy on LinkedIn. This is just an example of what I would do. Alright, and this can be applied to everybody's. Here he is right here, Madison, Connecticut. He's a software developer for somebody. He's an owner of some company, right? I don't know what his posts be looking. You can't see his posts till after you add him. But then next thing you know, bro, I'm just saying, you gotta connect. You've been looking for people. You gotta connect the dots like that, bro. And then he's gonna go somewhere. Like, look. I'll give you my example of him would be Ted Patterson. What I literally just did is how this is one of my homies now, one of my bros, and he is lit. And he just invited me to something the other day. And look at his events that he does. Is like this, right? These are all developers. Community developer meetup. He does this stuff, man. This is what y'all gotta do, right? And then a hackathon will come from that. And next thing you know, there's so many jobs. A software developer, like a real one, I feel like, think about it as in tiers, right? So with us trying to break in, we're at the bottom tier where we will actually talk to the person who's trying to pay 50 an hour. These guys who work for Apple, these guys who work for Google, these guys like Ted Patterson are gonna want 150 an hour, right? So you come in, you get the low hanging fruit, and then you meet people and you're still a developer, right? You might not be Ted Patterson, you might not be Donald, the OG, but you're the one who can make the website for 1,200 instead of 5,000. You may make the website for 1,200, and then you can build your portfolio up that way. And then before you know it, you can hold your own meetup, and that's when you really get known even more on LinkedIn. And it's just more connections, and it's just more stuff like that. These are the things that people don't do. So how do you find these events to meet up? You got meetup.com is a great one. I have a meetup myself. The Digital Builders is a meetup. right? And then also you could do wait, my bad, bro. I saw somebody said do. Someone said do somewhere. What was the other place someone said to do? Where do you get outside where I said it? I think someone said do Washington. But let me show you what was I about to show you? Oh. Startup communities. Startup communities. Y'all ever heard of Shark Tank? Washington State. All right, I got you. Washington State. What languages do you do? Let's do JavaScript. Meetup. I'm assuming this is it. So you got Seattle JavaScript right here. Come on, bro. This is where you belong. You belong right here, dude. I don't care how new you are. You tell one of these guys, I'm learning to code. I'm a brand new developer. My portfolio is shit. And they don't care, bro. They will understand. They have all been there. They all understand how hard it is to learn how to code. And these are the people who you will call when you stuck in an error message. You know what I mean? You will join a Discord. You will know these guys. You will find out. You will be able, like, that's where you gotta soak it up, man. I went to Miami as a nothing noob with a like one repo. I went all the way to Miami because I part of Leon Dev's homework for one of the videos was he gave me the cheat code to go to a conference for free. He said if you want to go to a conference for free, all you have to do is message them and volunteer. And I messaged this conference in Miami called InfoBip, and I said I want to volunteer. I would love to come to your conference. And they said, I'm sorry, but we are fully full for volunteers, but here's a free ticket. I got a free ticket. And so I went there, and it was something like this, but it was in Miami, so it was even, it was massive. And I was talking to people, and I just was really just soaking up that vibe. You have to take on the persona of a web developer. Take on the persona, right? And start shaking people's hand and introduce yourself as that. And and of course work on your skills at the same time. But when the clients come, the clients aren't going to give you a technical interview. The small businesses aren't. When you're first working on your portfolio, you're not going to get yeah, exactly. Drop the ego, accept help, be humble, let them know you're new, still be hungry, learning, build, try to learn from people, get in conversations, ask them how did they start, tell me your story, how did you become a developer, what type of frameworks do you use, what type of things do you build, if you don't mind, can I pick your brain for a little bit? And if you live in this city with them, you could say like, where are the jobs over here? Do you know any companies that are hiring juniors? Do you know, what is your advice? Where do you think I should do? You know what I mean? You gotta make friends with these people. It's high school all over again. iOS software engineers in Washington. So that's mobile developers, Washington. Maybe that. Oh, I'm looking in Virginia Beach. I'll Google it. Developer meetups. I'll just throw iOS in there too. So this one is, I don't know about that. Local bark.com. Here you go. The Seattle iPhone app development meetup group. 824 members. When's their next event? Here, look, you got 824 members, bro. Sunday, June 30th. Friday, June 21st. Bro, you got a lot of stuff in here, man, that you could hit up. And this isn't even counting LinkedIn. The real thing to do, because we use LinkedIn way more than we use Meetup. Meetup is like the little bro of LinkedIn. this even smarter thing to do, take the people's names from here and go add them on LinkedIn. Developers hang out on LinkedIn, for real. That's where all the networking happens. So I would start at the top. Start with this, with Seaton. Find this dude here. Look, this is an OG, obviously. He created Surf Incubator. There you go, bro. Do you know what an incubator is? An incubator is where you like build companies at. Every company needs a or like a co-working space. What is that what an incubator is? Something to do with people coming together. You know what I mean? So I would try and get connected with this dude. He's obviously an OG, and then start there, and then maybe you could volunteer to help set up, volunteer to help fill out name badges, you know what I mean, something like that, and make yourself of use, and then start to like work from there, build your network, and find your clan of developers, and you can start your own. If you don't connect with these people, that's where you start your own, and then they're like, oh, whoa, so you're really one of us, like you're even gonna be an organizer. It's rare. Data engineer Dallas. Dallas data engineers is a group, 179 people. You got 179 people here. The first thing I always look at is when was their most recent events. They did one in May. Low key data engineering happy hour. 33 people went to this. So then you look for the next one coming up. Join the group. You can join these things for free. Okay, there's nothing. There's nothing coming up now, but there might be, stay tuned. And still, like I said, the more important thing is to go to the organizers or even some of the members and start adding people on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is really where you will find, that's where you'll actually find the real work, is in LinkedIn. It's over here, man. This is where you'll actually everybody send me a LinkedIn request, by the way, too. I accept everyone. And then you volunteer. I used to do I ran social media for this Blacks in Technology group here, and they sent me, I got a random email from this guy who, Giggling Paws and Pets. They already have a website. It's a Shopify website. And he said, I could go find it in my phone. He said, Antoine gave me your phone number. I met the owner of Blacks in Technology at a hackathon. This random dude from Giggling Paws and Pets sent me an email saying that he got my phone number or my email from Antoine, and that he thinks I would be good to help them. It's 4 guys with some pet company, and they don't really know much about what they should do to grow. And all I do is hop on a meeting with them for 1 hour a week and just strategize with them. And that's a monthly check for me. Just off of, I did a hackathon and I met that dude. I made 1 flyer for him, and he found out that I'm a tech guy. I make flyers. I also build websites. And then I got a reference from that. And every single client that I have, every single opportunity that I has came from me shaking somebody's hand, has came from me meeting somebody at something that I have done in the past. So, and I got that straight up from Leon Noel. And so that's the approach that I tell y'all. You can't, unfortunately, like, we all wish that we could just take a couple courses, make our portfolio, and apply on LinkedIn and apply on Indeed. But the thing is, you're putting yourself in a sea full of everybody at that point who's learned to code since COVID. You might get lucky, but what you really got it, where the real opportunity comes from, and I talk to my friends about this all the time, is when I step foot into these buildings. And then people are co-working spaces. people are sitting there working, and there's so many clients, we don't know what to do with it. There's so many opportunities, we don't know what to do with it. And we talk about this all the time. Like, y'all see like what's going on here? Like, all of these clients everywhere. But the thing is, people want to hire somebody who they can trust. People want to hire somebody who they have met before. People don't really want to hire people off of resumes, man. Off of this. Would you want to, if you're, put yourself in their shoes. You're a hiring manager. Would you recommend somebody from here? Or would you want to recommend somebody that showed up at here? And that you're like, man, this dude cool. This dude is cool. He's alright. Let me see your resume. Once they know you, then they got to see your resume. Then you're going to get the job. But my bad, bro. I see that was another one for me to try in India. Yes, it is about who you know. Unfortunately, bro. And it just has to be, just because we're living in the internet age. And there's too many of us online. There's too many people on the internet. But let's see. I think that India might. I don't know. I'm not very. I've never done a search for a software development group. But let's see. Software engineer India. Do y'all have Meetup out there? Value coders hire remotely. I had a feeling it was going to be mostly people here trying to hire. Oh, wait. Oh, see, that's more like an Indeed. We're looking for a Meetup. Meetup group. Here you go. Maybe. 815 attendees. Why am I so zoomed in? There we go. Oh, this is online. This is an online event, but it had 800 people that showed up to that. But we're looking for in person, right? Catch up and coffee with product. Here you go. Catch up over coffee for product managers and developers. This is at a Starbucks in your city, bro. Had 20 attendees there. They didn't take any pictures. But still, this is your network right here. So it's even over there, bro. That's what y'all gotta do. Trust is everything. Loyal to. Yeah, man, we gotta kind of act like the internet is not a thing, like how our grandparents had to do it. We're kind of back at that point, and we only talking about the fastest way possible. I think a lot of the people who don't make it and who give up are ones like y'all. Have y'all seen those YouTube videos where people say I filled out 100 applications to jobs? People say I filled out 100 applications, I filled out 200 applications, and I haven't got any response. That's just because you're all filling out the same jobs online, you know. Um. So yeah, I'm putting together a hackathon, and this is the way that I approach my This is a complete, just the Lionel thing here, right? Where, but I would love to see more people doing this. I would love to see more people understanding the value in this, and it's really like you give to your community. You put yourself on their side, the organizer side, and you'll be surprised. That's then all of a sudden the floodgates open once you're looked at as somebody who's willing to do something like that. You know what I mean? So this is a document for an event that I'm putting together that's gonna be at one of the biggest festivals out here. Something in the water. We're also partnering with So here's something in the water festival right here, right? So I put together like a proposal to add a hackathon to this. And it's because I got a little bit of a track record for throwing events. I came up with this idea to do this thing. Where's gonna be the the pictures from it? I think assembly is where we could find like the pictures from the first one that we did. Let me see. Assembly Norfolk. Hold on. I'll go to my homegirl Kiera because I know she worked with me on this. And she be posting this stuff. She's a program manager for 757 Collab, who's inside the assembly building. See, this is an accelerator. It's like Shark Tank. And yeah, they do things like this. Like I have access to that building. It's called the Fur Vault. That's where I'm gonna start teaching some coding classes. But I'm looking for this thing that we did, the Spring Social. Was that it? No, it's not it. It's in here somewhere, man. Here's the flyer for it. 757 Spring Social. I partnered with that team, Social Supply that I work for. Your 305 days off League of Legends. Saw your video. Yo, what's up, bro? Congratulations, man. That's a crazy streak. I almost played League again today. I'm so glad I didn't. Instead, I went live. Dude, since I quit playing League, I've made like 5 different videos in a week versus like I'm so much more. Meetup only costs money if you're being an organizer. It's free if you're just trying to go to stuff. But yeah, what up, Alex? Thanks for stopping by, bro. I'm trying to find the Spring Social video. Assembly, or at least some pictures. I'm trying to put pictures behind what I'm talking about here. Did I get tagged in something? I know I can show you from my Instagram. That's a way that we could do it. Let's just go to my Instagram. All right, here's my Instagram. So here's me on like a tech panel, right? And just sitting right here, this dude had a successful startup that he sold. Same with that guy Carl. He works for some huge company. Both of them are lit, and just for me sitting next to them and talking for a little bit gave me like that position. Here's the event right here. And it was really my idea to bring like artists and investors and founders, creatives and mentors all together in one room, and tech people too. And so we all came together in one room and talked about our area, Hampton Roads, and how we could help people break into tech in that area. And like it was investors, it was mentors, it was developers, it was startup founders, all in one room. That was the first one that like proved the concept that I could be an event organizer. And then we did something on the rooftop of Assembly. And now I'm a member of this program called and I think we actually have the video from that, matter of fact. It was, you don't see much because we're only facing like one direction with this, but this was the DJ outside, but at the same time we had something else going on. We had a band performing, and you kind of see that you can kind of see that there's suits there too, right? Over here you see like a dude is in a suit over there. So we put all of these people together and the city loved it, right? Because we're bringing everyone together. Basically, you're being an artist, you're being creative, you're bringing like pretty girls next to like nerds, developers, and investors, and everybody loves, to have fun. We also had a band perform right here. This is what it looked like inside of there. Wish we would have got the crowd, but yeah, and that's at this building called Assembly. And now I'm a member of this thing called the Changemakers program. So they allow me to throw more events. And I'm only saying this stuff to show you guys that like that really is a way to unlock opportunities for yourself in the middle of this terrible economy and terrible job situation that we have going on. You kind of gotta, there's an angle there. There's an angle with like networking, and I'm not telling you that you have to throw an event, but I'm just trying to say that like do something, man. Do something like that, or at least sit in the crowd. At least be there. If you're an introvert and you're just like building your own personal projects, at least be there to show somebody your portfolio. You know what I mean? Dan, you lost a 56-minute game today. Yeah, bro. I don't miss that. I don't miss it. Man, my biggest thing about League of Legends, sorry, a lot of people here are not here for the League of Legends speech, but I'm just going to say that what I thought about was, say you do accomplish your dream with League of Legends and you climb to whatever rank you're trying to climb in that game. Who's going to care, bro? Who's going to care that it's cool? When I realized how many people play that game that are just miserable and hate that game, and then I thought like, even if I do, every time I reach a new rank, no one gives me props. None of my friends here give a damn about me being good with Shaco. And it's just like, it's an ego thing for yourself, really. And even if you until you make it to the LCS, no one's going to give you props, bro. And it takes so much damn, like, imagine the effort. Like, you could do it. Of course you could do anything. You could become Emerald if you want to. But think about how sweaty you got to be to do that. And how many hours you got to be to do that. When you could be building something cool. When you could be networking. When you could be... Bro, I gave my dog a bath. I haven't done that in so long. Little things, man. Little things I've been putting aside because what in the middle of me having a YouTube channel, clients, startups, I was playing that damn game for like 4 hours a day. And I've got so much time back. You see me streaming right now. I wasn't even streaming no more. So that's enough of the league speech. But yeah, bro. But so I'm a member of this thing called the Changemakers now, right? So they give me a month. I can log in here and I can book any one of these rooms and I can throw events here just because of me raising my hand and letting them know that I'm that type of person who will do that type of stuff. You just arrived in the States and want to learn more about coding. There's a couple different programs, bro. I would say I need to get an affiliate link with teamtreehouse.com, as many people as I send to them. But I would say teamtreehouse.com, bro. It's only $25 a month, and you can learn the code. But you could also start with free code camp. This one here. Depending on how new you are, man, do you know any HTML, CSS, or JavaScript? It really doesn't matter. They got everything for you here that you would need to get started. Straight up with the beginning of just writing a comment. As you can see, I went through the whole thing. And then, and you get a nice little thing for your LinkedIn too. But I've always heard good things about embarrassing moments. I would say, yeah, I had to speak one time and I had the whole thing planned in my mind. I had the whole thing planned that I was going to say when they called my name to come up there and talk. As soon as I grabbed the microphone, for some reason I said, testing. Like, I didn't know that the shit was already working. Everyone was using it the whole time. I said, testing. And I saw everybody smile. And they were like, we can hear... Someone said, we can hear you. And I completely forgot what I was going to say. And my heart started beating fast. And I was just like, yeah, so... My name's Lionel. I'm a software engineer. I have a group called The Builders. And, I teach people to code. Like, I just started rambling. And then I went and I talked to my friend afterwards. I was like, man, I was nervous. I was so nervous. She's like, I could tell, bro. I could tell. I was like, damn. Oh, well, man. Oh, well. You just gotta fucking... It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. You just gotta... It's gonna happen. That shit is gonna happen, man. But everybody's human. You know what I mean? This is a picture of me rambling right here, probably. But yeah, that was the most recent one. I'm a terrible public speaker, but hey, I make shit happen at the same time, you know? getting back to the Blackathon, man. I've approached companies, big companies. They love to hear this type of stuff, right? So look, the focus of the Blackathon is to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, DE&I, in technology. To promote diversity in tech, foster collaboration between creatives and developers, and potentially spark new companies. The problems we are solving. Kids are leaving Hampton Roads, feelings as if they can't accomplish their dreams here. We're going to do a tech space conference in the area, provide something cool and tech related. We're going to introduce tech jobs that you don't have to code as well. And I got that from a company. There's a dude who runs a company that's all about breaking into tech without having to code. Tapping into a hard to reach demographic. Companies love to reach these certain demographics. Showing Gen Z that they matter, supporting local networking and education as a cool part of the culture. So the idea that I have is to have people fill out a a questionnaire on a website basically saying, are you a creative? Are you a developer? Are you a builder? Are you an investor? Are you a founder? And then the system is going to randomly scramble and place you in teams of 4 to compete for a prize at an event in October at the music festival, something in the water, right? And it's going to be judged by like celebrity judges and stuff like that. And we're getting mad sponsors. We're getting mad support with this thing. Everybody loves the idea. And what else have I say? Oh, and then leading up to it, we're going to do bi-weekly events leading up to it where we're going to teach people to code, we're going to teach people to network, we're going to teach people how to make a pitch deck, we're going to teach people how to spin up a one-page website. Whatever things that you need to use for the hackathon, we're going to teach with these bi-weekly and monthly events leading up to it, which is just all me networking even more, meeting more people, getting more my name out there more. And the thing is, these companies like sponsor this type of stuff. We got mad different partners that love the idea. I pitched the idea, and this is like the shittiest pitch deck with no pictures, just a document, right? That I made in Google Doc. That this needs to be changed to a pitch deck with some pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just an example of like, but that's taking it to like the next level, right? Something simple that you could do. That where I'll tell you where I started at. Matter of fact, right? I started with this group here, my meetup, digital builders. It's been a while since we did one, but if you go to where, how do I haven't been up here in a while, as you could tell. Here's the group, digital builders. Whoa, we only did 7 events. How do I get to your events? This is like buggy for some reason. All right, digital builders. Okay, here we go. I have 116 members in here. I need to send out a message to everybody because it's been a minute, and our next event is Juneteenth. So I would do JavaScript open discussions, right? I had 24 people come. This was an online event, and it didn't take anything. All it took, and this is way back in February where I barely knew how to code, right? And what JavaScript open discussion was, we all just hopped on Zoom and we just talked about JavaScript. The floor was open to everyone. It's a Zoom. And I was just like, so, we started saying like an object. Who knows what an object is, right? And we started talking about how interesting it is that in JavaScript, an object is similar to like real life objects. Like say you have a chair. That's an object. And how would you write that in JavaScript? So we were like, what's the function of a chair? So a JavaScript function of a chair, you would say what? Sit. You could sit in it. And a property. What's a property of a chair? It has 4 legs, right? It has 4 legs. So that's basically what we did. We did an open discussion. We brought up like I let it go anywhere. And I kind of just talked for like an hour to people, right? And this is 24 people that are in my area. I should do that again more often. I think we also went to Free Code Camp too. I think I did a screen share and I went to Free Code Camp. I let people ask questions, whoever wanted to ask a question. You know, how hard would that be to do while you're learning to code? You could pull up Free Code Camp and you could say, you could run through this whole thing. How do you write a comment? Start with the beginning. This is a comment. And then you talk about what that is to people, like apologize to the people who have done this a million times. You know, it's been so long. I don't even. How do you run this thing? You write the comment. Oh, here it is. Run the test. Oh, and then they want you to do a comment like this. And we would explain what writing a comment is. It's been so long since I did this. I need to probably do this again. Whoops. Yo, did my browser just crash? Where'd it go? Oh. Yeah. Do the other one that they want to see. This. My bad. Y'all get the point. Damn it. Shift. And then run it. And then you pass it. And then you go on to the next one. Yeah, it is. You recommend people sometimes use online editor practice instead of the editor. Uses online editor instead of the one in Free Code Camp. Which online editor? But yeah, man. But yeah, that's basically like my speech on what I would do if I could like start over, you know what I mean, with it. Y'all want to try to do some leak code? Has anyone here ever done leak code? I usually put like a playlist on when I go to do this. Something more chill than that though. This is like my favorite playlist to code to. Lead rooms. No, I never heard of that. Do you have anything that you like the least working at an actual software? Oh, wow. I would probably get my ass kicked if I tried to do that, bro. Something that I like the least about working as an actual software engineer. I would say honestly, I'm gonna have to pause it for that because that's a serious question. Honestly, do y'all really have fun writing code? Get you a room. Oh, wow. I'm gonna check it out. Let me practice. Practice for a bit first. But I would say honestly, man, I was talking to my girl about this earlier today, bro. I feel like sometimes I love problem solving. I love the end product that you get from coding, But I think the process of being stuck all the time, and maybe it's because I'm still new, I feel like sometimes I get tired of being stuck, bro. Coding is super frustrating. Like, um, as a junior, I would say, you really, really have to be a hard-headed person who will persevere no matter what, especially working as a software engineer when you have a deadline. When you have, okay, I'm gonna paint a picture for you. All right, I want to paint the scene and imagine yourself in this position, right? Because it's one thing when you're learning what course is, and it's one thing when you're building projects on your own and no one's waiting for you for anything. But imagine it's Saturday morning, right? You just woke up Saturday morning and you have something that has to be done by Monday, first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock. It's the weekend and you have all sorts of stuff that you want to be doing, but you have not finished the thing that you need to get done by Monday. So think about that. You're working on getting some, what's something that would be hard to do? Some task. You need to like reconfigure some like some page or something. You got to do something that it's an error screen, right? And your dev told you that it would be simple, but it's an error screen and everything that you Google is not working. And you're supposed to have this thing done by Monday. That specific situation is the thing that I would say is the most frustrating about being a junior software engineer. Is when you have when you have a meeting coming up and you're under that pressure to get something done by the meeting and you're struggling to make it happen. And because I have gone through that point where you wake up, imagine waking up and working on something until you go to sleep. And all you're seeing the whole time is it's not working. And you're Googling, you're chat GPTing, you're reading documentation, you're doing everything and you can't figure out why it's not working. So, what do you do? What do you do in that sense? I do have good mentors at my current job. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have a dude, Isaiah, who has been coding. He was writing Minecraft servers when he was like 10. He's younger than me, but he has saved my ass multiple times. And I've gotten better at asking him for help. I used to be super like stubborn. I used to be super stubborn with asking for help, but now I don't care. I can tell when I need to wave the white flag. And I'm like, man, this thing that I just can't figure out, Isaiah's gonna know exactly what to do. So I just ask for help now. But it sucks, man. It sucks asking for helps. It'll never be fun. It's like taking a cold shower. Or it's like taking a cold plunge. It's one of those things that you know is good for you to do, but it's just, it sucks every time. But yeah, you solve one problem, then it comes to the next. Right. But at least you're moving forward, right? And then I would also say that when you finally get it done, there's nothing like that feeling when you have spent so much time. Like, since we mentioned the bad, let's also mention the feeling of accomplishment when you finally get it, right? That feeling when it finally works, man. That's why I love being a software engineer. That's why I'm still going at it, because crazy like that, where I'm stubborn and determined, and I've never had anything that I haven't been able to do, right? So I'm that type of person where I'm always gonna try my hardest to give something my all. But software engineering is the hardest thing that I've ever tried to do. I've said that so many times where I'm like, damn, man, like this shit is so hard. And it could be because I lack fundamental knowledge. I'm self-taught. I don't have a CS degree. And there's so many gaps in my knowledge. So I set myself up for failure in that sense. I set myself up the hard way. Like if you're trying to do it the way that I did it, and then also especially getting a job in that condition, it's been straight up struggle the whole time, but progression. And because of me throwing myself in the fire like that, I've rapidly progressed to where even though I'm still a junior, I'm 100 times the developer that I was before. And I found out when I am working on stuff now, it doesn't phase me. The errors don't phase me. Being stuck don't really phase me. You know what I mean? Like, I expected, okay, this didn't work. All right, let me look. Let me open up the network tab. Let me open up the inspect. If y'all don't know what you got to do, right? I'm sure that Casey can agree. This is where we live over here. You put a console log. You click this thing and you find like where is it at? You look at the code. You start looking at like what is actually happening over here. What is the error codes in here? What's the payload look like? You have to find all of these different clues. You become a detective. You become a true detective when something isn't working. And then you got to go back and try something else. You got to read the errors. You got to see what the hell is going on, behind the scenes. And this is where it gets interesting. Right? Console logs, network tabs, like that's where the real magic happens over there. Yeah, man, with the girl, I feel you there. But what I tell my girl in that time, I'm like, I'm getting you a castle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying, let the king build the castle over here. I'm sorry. Yes, that's exactly how I got my job, bro. It was from me connecting with people on Meetup. That's why that's that's the first thing that I go to, what I recommend. I could tell you the full story. I feel like I don't know how many people here have heard the story already, but if y'all don't mind, I'll tell you the short version of it, and just try and hit the bullet points, right? So, I had a crypto before I could code. I made a bunch of money on crypto. I just got lucky and brought the right coin at the right time. And then I always wanted to build a game anyway, so I got the idea to make a crypto game. And so that I'm gonna spare y'all the details so that I'm not gonna ramble it up. But I started this crypto thing at this place called Startup Studios, right? I applied for a chance to run through this startup program called Startup Studios. And I was so surprised when I got the message of them. Oh yeah, that's what happened. I just remember what really happened. All right. I was working at a medical transport facility, managing this medical transport company called Express Transportation, and then I made like $30,000 at one time because of crypto, right? So I was already feeling myself, and I was thinking about quitting. And I asked my boss if I could learn to code while working because I want to become a software engineer, and my job is super easy. The phone is not ringing half the day. So can I at least learn to code while I'm sitting here, right? And my boss told me no. So I said, well, I'm sorry, man, but I'm up. I had $30,000. I was like, well, I'm going to quit and I'm going to learn to code. So that's what I did. I quit my job and I got on free code camp and I started learning how to code, right? And then at the same time, I applied for this Startup Studios thing, which this connects to that building assembly. This is how I met all of those people over there. So I got accepted. And the moment that I got accepted and I had to go through this program here where you get an office in their building, you have to be at all these meetings, I stopped learning to code to do this startup thing. and to just be an entrepreneur. And we hired a team in India to build the game that we were building. It's called Blockchain Games. I could take y'all through the pitch deck, but I'm gonna just try and move through this fast, right? So then Jake, this guy named Jake was an Apple developer who now worked at the startup, and he was code reviewing for us because we felt like we needed somebody on this side of the states, and at least on our team, to look over the work that the team in India was doing so that we could hold them accountable for, like, you know, knowing what's going on, right? So that just to make sure that things are being built properly. Jake was $125 an hour just to review the code. So at that moment, I said, like, for one, damn, I wish I would have learned how to code, because I should be just doing what he's doing. That should be me doing that. And then crypto crashed. I lost a bunch of money because I didn't sell. I was hodling. So when I say I shouldn't say I had $30,000. I was up a lot in crypto, and I felt like, you know, I got overconfident with it, and crypto went down, and so I lost a bunch of money at the same time. How am I going to get people to invest in my crypto game now that crypto has crashed? Who's going to invest in crypto? With it, everyone thought it was a scam at that time, when Bitcoin went from like 30, 40,000, 50,000 to like 20,000. It was crazy. So then I had to take my ass back to work, right? And I did, and I started truck driving, and I started learning to code. But I went to learn to code with a new energy and a new, like, seriousness about it, because of everything that I had learned and how I saw I wanted to be like Jake. And so that's really what made me... Oh, that's him right there. This dude, that was it. That's literally him right there. That's so funny. But but and then what happened? Oh, so then while I was truck driving, right? I was truck driving and learning how to code. I did 100 devs. I did free code camp. I did team treehouse. And on the 7th episode of 100 devs, he said exactly what I've been telling y'all. Go to meetups. Well, I'll start with the first one. The first homework was to hit up a web developer and take them out to lunch. I hit up my friend Matt, who I knew was a web developer. I asked him if he wanted to go grab some food. Just because it was my homework, I did. And I just picked his brain a little bit. And at the end of that, he invited me to go to a book club. I went, and I'm literally taking y'all down the path of how I got hired, right? And I just know that these are the steps that it took. I had no idea that this was going to get me a job, but I was just doing what Leon Noel told me to do and hoping for the best, right? So I went to this book club, and then at the book club, I met Isaiah. Now, Isaiah is my lead dev at the project that I work for now. At the time, he was just my friend at the book club, and we got along even better than the dude who invited me in the first place. So then I found out that Startup Studios was doing a hackathon. So I signed up for the hackathon, and I invited Isaiah, and we ended up winning. We got first place. So that's how I put my name out in this building, which startups come through this building all the time. And I put my name out there as a developer because I won the hackathon. It made me, even though I kind of got carried by my team and by Isaiah, we still won, right? And so that gave me a little bit of clout in the building and in the network. And that was my first time working with a group with GitHub. I always had the repo to myself, private repo, right? But this, I finally learned how to work with a group. I learned so much over that weekend, even though I was still scared to ask for questions. I worked with React, and I was on the mobile team, and I had a lead dev, and I really got to like see what it's like to be a real developer at that point, going from like nothing, from no experience. And then I made the website for that lady, Eileen. And then when she asked me, she told me that that company was hiring and they're looking for a developer. She tagged me, she tagged Jake, and she tagged Ted, my other user UI UX guy who's super busy. I called them like literally as soon as I saw that she sent that message, and I got an interview with them. And all I had was this as a website, as a portfolio. And I skipped a whole bunch of information about me freelancing and learning and building stuff. Like I built this palette management thing. I had a couple websites in here. But this website and this resume here was good enough to please the guy, to the point of where he said, I want to bring you on board. And then I was honest with him and I said, man, I don't think that I can be the lead of this thing. Because he asked me, he was like, can you lead the project? Told me it's a project management app. I did not want to even like take the chance of failing, miserably and not being able to do it. So I said, I can join the team and be one hell of a member on the team, but I'm going to need, I don't think I could be the lead. And he said, well, that's fine. How many developers do you think you would need other than yourself? And I said, maybe 2, and I know exactly the person. I know exactly the 2. So I got Isaiah and my friend Neil to come with me and meet this dude at a coffee shop. And when Isaiah got there, bro, he was basically like Elon Musk. Like Jeff, he just nailed it. He nailed the entire process of the interview. I said like 3 words, and he basically got us hired and got us the job. And the way that he did it was super cool too, because he put himself as the project manager and put me as the person writing the code. Because his rate is so much higher than mine, because he has so many clients and so many, he runs an entire company. So he kind of put me under the wing of my project as an employee and put himself as the project manager, to where I just have to meet with him during stand-up meetings, and then he saves my ass whenever I get stuck. But for the most part, I wrote all the code by myself and just meet up with him, do stand-up meetings with Notion and Linear, and we just pretty much like, that's how we did it, basically. Here's we would do these huddles here where we go over like what we're gonna do for the week, what's the plan. We would basically have 2 meetings a week, and then Monday through Friday I would be the one who had to code, pretty much. So but it leads back into, if I would have never asked that dude to go out to lunch, and then he invited me to the book club, and I skipped over the part where I had to work that day. I like snuck off. I pulled up in a truck with tomatoes and lettuce and bananas in the truck and parked like down the street so they couldn't see it, and then walked to the meeting, to the book club with my computer, and I was super late to Maryland. I had to drive to Maryland. And so it was crazy, bro, that I did that, but it worked out because, I got hired making $50 an hour for the app that I work for. So yeah, that's the story of how I got hired, and how and why I talk so highly of networking, and why that's like, ever since then, every opportunity that has came, I haven't been able to get nothing on LinkedIn, nothing on Indeed, and I have applied for stuff. And at the same time, most of that stuff you have to pass a technical interview for, right? So I need to study up on that type of stuff if I'm gonna ever go that route. We need to be doing leak code if we're ever gonna go that route, right? We need to know how to do this type of stuff. So is this return? Yeah, did y'all want to do a couple of these? We can. Yo, thanks, bro. Yeah, man. I have made that a video. I was about to say I need to make that into a YouTube video. Man, I've told that story so many times, and that's still the short version, man. I'm kind of skipping over some stuff because I don't want to be over rambling, but yeah, man. So y'all know how this stuff works, right? This is a function. Create hello world. Where's the write a function? Create hello world. It should return a new function that returns the word hello. Return function. I don't think we need arguments in there, or would it be return? It returns a function that always returns hello world. So we just write return hello world in here. This is like the first one, so it's super easy. Was that it? Oh, submit. Oh, I need to log in. I was like, what's going on? Dang. Yeah, man, I should make that into an ebook, bro. Yeah, bro, yeah. That's what people say too, man. And that was off of, where did I get that number from? Cause I like negotiated for that. 50. When we were on the phone, I didn't know what to say. He was like, what is your rate? How much do you charge per hour? And I was like, I'm accustomed to about 50 an hour, is what cause I know that the real developers, man, like Jake and them, I know they charge like 150, 125. So I try to, go lower but not go too low and still be fair with it. I should make that into a yeah, I'll share the link. Let me drop this into the chat. If y'all want to hop in here, I should make that into an ebook, man, and because there is still more to it for real. That's a good idea, man. I'm gonna write that down on my whiteboard. Thanks, bro. Dang, my phone died. I was reading the chat on my phone. But yeah, so y'all know how if y'all want to hop in here and do some leak code, we can get it going. Is that like a contract? Are you looking for a full-time job? And if it's a startup. They won this thing called TechStars and got funded. It was like a kind of like a Shark Tank thing. They won it with that demo. I don't know if y'all were here when we went over the demo. It'd be cool if I don't know if I probably can't show y'all what it looks like now, but I know for sure I could show you the demo. But so yeah, they won TechStars just with this MVP here, and then they got funded, so then they could hire software engineers to actually build it from there. It's a project management Navy project management app where you keep track of personnel, and it's like Asana or like Monday, like any project management app you can think of, but basically for ship repair. Oh, word. Oh, word. Why did I think that you were from India? So yeah, bro. But yeah, well, I signed a year contract with them. So I'm on staff for a year, and in the meantime, you see all the other stuff I'm still doing, bro. This is like my life at this point. Like, this is really all I do now. Just because I'm so new, I don't feel like I made it or anything like that. I'm still going super hard because I feel like I am still just getting started, and I do have a lot to learn. But yeah, if y'all with me on this leak code here, we're just returning. It just says write a function, create hello world, that should create a new function that always returns hello world. What's your LC count? Bro, I've only done like 2 of these. So I'm not I'm just getting started with leak code. I'm late on it. Hey, it worked though. Study plan. We're gonna do that later. All right, we're going on to the next one. All you had to do was write return hello world in here, so that wasn't difficult. Oh, I did this one. I think I did this one back in the day. Let me redo it though. Reset. All right. So are we on the second one? You're on the grind to get better. Yeah, man. Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. I'm trying to get better too. I can't. My thing is I cannot be the weakest link for long. We can't be the weakest link. Y'all know juniors have a bad reputation. We started this stream watching these guys talk about it. Wait, not that one. These guys was talking about juniors. Where'd they go? One of these, man. I got too many tabs open. This is an app that I'm working on, by the way. But write a function that expect that helps developers test their code. It should take any. Wait, I think I skipped one. What was the previous one? Okay, here we go. Yeah, given an int. This is the second one. Given an integer n, return a counter function. This counter function initially returns n and then returns 1 more than the previous value every subsequent time it's called. N plus 1, n plus 2. Okay. So create counter equals a function. Wait. Let's start this over. Given an integer n, return a counter function. So we're returning a function here. So we're gonna write counter in here right now just to like get the note in there. That's what I'm gonna do. Return a counter function. So that's gonna have to be like this, right? If it's a function. Just make that a counter function, and it would also have parentheses here as well. The function initially returns n. Now, it initially returns n, so that would be n, and then returns 1. So wait, param n returns counter function, and then returns 1. So wait, wouldn't we have to declare n? Is n already declared? It initially returned. Can we do like a n plus 1? One more. No, we're gonna have to declare counter. Right? Integer n, return counter function. This counter. Yeah, where do we declare what counter is in the first place? Counter, or what n is. Because this isn't really declaring it up here. That's just telling you that n is up there. So yeah. So can we do counter equals n right here? Counter equals n. Right? And then we're gonna return counter plus 1. I feel like we're getting there, right? Let me just see what is this gonna do? And then we'll work it from there. We're gonna figure this shit out. I figured that was wrong, but what does it... Okay, so this is returning 11. Where is it getting 11 from? It's returning 11. So how do we get that to go up? Doesn't doing this do that? expected to go 10, 11, 12. And we're only getting 11. Okay. And hold on. Return if counter equals. This is like the easiest thing, bro. Why is my brain freezing right now? Feel free to throw out any suggestions if you have any. But I know that, alright, we would start if n equals 10 is the input. Oh, that's why we're getting 11, because n equals 10. Okay, the input is n equals 10. And we're just returning counter, which is n. And we added 1. Okay, so if n equals 10 and we need it to go, so wait, why are we not going up higher? So we're returning counter. We're just so now if we do return, it's gonna return just straight 10s, right? Okay, cool. So all we need to do is figure out how to make this thing increment up 1 each time, right? What is the way? How do you do that? How do you make things count up? How about counter equals n? Do we do a +1 right here? $11. Yeah, it is, right? But you see what we need to do? We need to go 10, 11, 12. So we need to find a way to increment a return and go up 1 each time. I think we have to write it as if it's a function when we're returning, because it does say given an integer n, return a counter function. I'm just returning counter. Let's try to return counter as if it's an actual function. If counter equals, yeah, you gotta call a function again. True. So we would do that by doing this and then putting, because you're gonna need it to run each time, n plus 1. Return counter. Counter is not a function. Counter equals n. Wait. Let's see. Well, we already know that n is declared as for 10. So what if we put n in here as an argument, and then now you have 10 in here, and oh wait, no. Put n in here, and then return +1. What did that do? Output is 1, 1, 1. Okay, so that means that this didn't work. Term like, return. I don't want to. All right, let's do what I would do if I was actually at work here, but still try. I'm not gonna have them solve it for me, right? So we're gonna say, how do I increment a return function +1? That's it. The lame thing to do would be to just copy that entire thing in here. Here we go. We need to return count like that +1. Okay. That's what I'm thinking that it is, right? Because, yeah. So we were close, but you need to call the function and then add +1. So it's return, call it, and then you increment 1, right? I think that's what it is now. Right? No? Hold on. Function increment value. Do we need to console log this? Return 5 is the example value. Function get number, return 5 is the example value. And then the function to increment it is like this. This is the function to increment it. Return var create counter function, return function n plus plus. Let me see. Return fun. Oh. So I overdid it. It's right here. Here's the function. I could get rid of these parentheses here. Let me try this real quick first. +1. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna try what you said, bro. Line 7. Return function plus create counter n plus 1. Var create counter function. Okay, let's try that. That seems like the sensible thing. Create counter n plus 1. Maximum call stack size exceeded. Character 5. Solution. Create. Wait. I spelled it right. Oh, wait. Return. I forgot to type return. Return. There we go. I think that's it. Where's the error? Return. Wait, let me reset this, bro. I should have looked at it. I should have looked at the first thing it said because I figured this out a while ago and it wasn't this hard. Yeah, let's start all over, man. Let's start from scratch here. Right. Alright, so var create counter function n. Given an integer n, return a counter function. So here's the create counter function. We're returning the function, so it's going to have to be in here. This counter function initially returns n. You're not incrementing n. Initially returns n and then returns 1 plus more each time. I feel like this is it right here. Return, it would be return create counter plus 1, right? Return function in JS create closure. Create counter. Cause what? Oh wait. Because yeah, we're not gonna return. Put the variable in your outer function. The inner function will close it. Okay. So I should declare the variable first in here. Do I need to declare like counter equals n, right? Should go here to declare it there and then return it here in the inner. You could then increment, put the variable in the outer function, the inner function will close it. You can then right. Based on the closed variable. Okay. So now we would return like this. Return counter with calling it and then incrementing it. Return counter like this plus 1. Right. Alright. So running this should work. What did this do? Call. Return n plus plus. So you don't have to Oh, okay. Okay. So you didn't need, I didn't need to say counter. That's a little confusing to me because why did I have to declare, why did I have to declare it? Does that mean I can delete this line and it'll still work? I could technically delete this line, or that would mess it up. Oh, true, true. So I could delete it. Well, so wait, could I just delete this? Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, just to make sure we understand this, given they gave us the integer n and we're returning, so we really just had to put return in here. They already gave us the number was already 10, and then it returns it, and the plus plus increments it every time it's called. What is making it call 3 times? Oh, right here. Want to just return immediately. Interesting. Now, is that what they did here as well? Function get number, return 5 is an example value. Function incremented the return value. Now they're calling get number, which is basically returning 5 and then adding 1 each time. Okay. Const create counter, and that's all of it in one line. Const create counter right equals n arrow function, calling it and returning the incremation. Return with whatever the function name is with the increment would work. So when I did this back in the day, I think I did it wrong. Well, not wrong because it worked, but I was just so far, I went so far extra. That's funny because I made that into a video too. I want to look at that video just to see how the hell did I do that? Solving, let me see. I'm curious as to how I did this last time I did it. Videos, search for leak code. Did I put that in here? Oh, I did. Let me see. Set this up a little better. Can we zoom in? Okay, there's a couple different ways that you could do this, right? I'm gonna try and use a closure to do this. We have n, that is in there as well. So let's go ahead and declare it. Let count equal n. So now we have that variable n, and it said that we're going to be returning. Give an integer n. We got that. Good night, bro. I'm gonna probably get some sleep here soon too. I just noticed it was 2 o'clock. The counter function. I'm just trying to, before I dip, I want to see like how did I do this before? Is this? But right? Appreciate your help, man. This counter function initially returns n. So we're gonna return count because count we're returning n. It initially returns n. Let's see if that works so far.
It should. Wrong answer, yes, but the output is 10, 10, 10. Why is the output 10?
I know I did some extra finagling to make
Oh,
this
because
work.
it's running, what's making it match up yet properly? But it could go higher every single time, right? So let's run that. Wrong answer. It's doing 11, 12, 13. I need it to start from 10. So the first one, it will start at 10 and then go up.
I did let count
This entire thing probably.
let count equal n minus 1. Return function count plus equals 1. And then return count. So isn't that crazy how this just goes to show bad code versus good code? Like, he did this entire thing in just one line. And here I am doing a bunch of extra stuff just
Probably could have
to
been done
pass
with
it.
like one line of code, but like y'all know, we just trying to solve the problem for now. I believe that'll do it. All right, accepted. 10, 11, 12.
It
Yeah,
worked.
So
It worked,
I'm
but
sure there's a better way.
yeah, I knew
to do
that
that, but
was the wrong
hey.
way to do it. Let count equals n minus 1 to start at 10. And then count plus equal 1, return count. Wow. Instead of just return n plus plus was all that we needed to do. I did n minus 1 because when I first returned count plus equal 1, it started at 11. It started at 11 because that's what plus equals 1 was doing, right? Yeah, if it works, it works. Yeah, that's pretty much me at work, basically. But if it's initially 10, right, I should have just done plus plus. True. Man. Yeah. So let's do this more often, man. I'm gonna pop up here. What's today? Wednesday? I think my plan was to go live every Saturday. But man, y'all are gonna see me up here more often, man, now that I quit playing video games. So if I'm here, I must just play chess. If as work's done like late at night, I might just make this a nightly thing even before I go to sleep, at least for an hour. You know, appreciate the help, man. Shoot, this is gonna make us all get better at coding. We should be doing leak code more often live, you know, and then this is gonna help me just like get my skills up, because you could tell there's a lot of gaps in my knowledge there. You know what I mean? It's crazy how like information goes in one ear and out the other, man. Like I forgot how I had done this back a month ago. That was a month ago that I did that video. It's crazy. So that's why practice is super important, and I hadn't been practicing. I just been working, you know, with the little tasks that I have. I'm from Florida, but I grew up in Virginia Beach. So yeah, I stay up here in Hampton Roads right now. Yup. But I'm about to head out, y'all, man. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for helping out with Leak Code, bro. Hopefully, please join the Discord, y'all. Join the Discord. I'll be announcing that I'm popping up here again, and we're gonna continue this Leak Code thing, man. Like, let's keep it going, and everything else, just coding and chilling and talking, like growing. We about to grow together, man. It's gonna be a long journey for us juniors, man. If we really gonna keep it going, man. Yup. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Keep building. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.